Hey guys, Super Sarah here. So, JVonZombie made a video a little while ago talking about an embarrassing moment that happened to him. And my embarrassing moment is not as bad as his, but it made me think of something that happened in my past and that I've told less than a handful of people about this. Oh my gosh. But it reminded me of it, so I decided to go ahead and make a video. This is going to be different than my normal videos, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So, before I turned 18, before I was legally an adult, I was driving I think it was a 1995. I can't remember exactly the year. It was a little Dodge Neon. It was a used car. I graduated in '05. You guys can do the math on that. But anyway, so I was 16 or 17. I was driving down a street that is, it's like a residential neighborhood. And next to the corner right there is a big parking lot, and it had a craft store that is now out of business. And then I think a restaurant and something else. Big parking lot. So I'm on this residential street, and there's a busy street in front of me. And I stop at a stop sign. And I guess I wasn't paying enough attention because this kid hits the side of my car with his bike. He's on a bike, hits the side of my car. I'm not sure if I even noticed right away what hit the car, but it hit hard enough to leave a dent. It was right in between my front bumper and my tire on my passenger side. So he comes through this parking lot, hits my car. I start freaking out. I still live with my parents, so I'm going through all those emotions of like, oh my gosh, my parents are never going to let me drive again. This kid's hurt. Like, I didn't hit him with my car, but my car was involved in him getting injured. I'm going to get sued. I'm going to lose my license. I'm never going to be allowed to do anything ever again. I'm like panicked, freaked out. So I throw my car into park. I might have actually turned my car off. I don't remember. But I know I put my car in park, took off my seatbelt, got out of my car, walked around, and this kid's getting up off the ground. He's not wearing a helmet. He's a boy. But he's bigger than I am. He's probably like maybe 13 or so. I'm not a very big person. So he stands up. I'm like checking. I'm like looking at him, not talking, making sure that there's no like serious injury. And he gets up and he kind of looks at me, and he kind of started laughing. Picks up his bike. He's like checking his bike out and stuff. I look at the dent of my car, and I immediately get pissed. I don't know if it was like hormonal things that were going through me, like, or if it was just, I don't know, pure anger, or maybe it was like an early motherhood instinct that I had built in automatically. But I immediately started going off on this poor kid who just basically got in a wreck on his bike. Where's your helmet? Where do you live? Where are your parents? Do they know you're out riding your bike like this? You could have went under my car. I could have ran you over. There's a busy street right here. I immediately just started going off on him, yelling, bringing up all of these things. And the poor kid, he was old enough to be bigger than me, but he was young enough to be freaked out that someone older than him who's able to drive was yelling at him and questioning him like this. And rightfully so. Now that I'm an adult, and even afterwards, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my parents about it. I had this nice big vertical dent in the side of my car. And it wasn't a new car, thankfully. It was not in pristine condition. So it never was questioned how that dent got there. But, yeah, that was my embarrassing moment. He got back on his bike and he rode off. I watched him for a little bit. I was still shaken and worked up. And then I ended up driving wherever I was driving to. And yeah, I was embarrassed pretty much immediately after I drove away. I probably told my husband about it at some point. I probably told a close friend of mine at the time. I don't think I told very many people that story. I know I haven't told very many people that story. But it's embarrassing. It's something that I kind of want to forget and not have happen again. And then there's another thing too. And this also involves my car. So I know the jokes about, women drivers. honestly, I have never been in a wreck where I'm driving my car, where like serious stuff has happened. I've never been in like a collision in my car while I'm driving, where I've been driving. I've been in vehicles with other people where the accidents have happened. But the other thing, this is before I was even like driving my car around all the time. Or maybe it was after I had my car, and for some reason I was driving my parents' minivan. They had a Pontiac. Oh, what was it? I cannot remember the name of what that car is called. I really liked it. It was a minivan. It was kind of old, but I liked that car a lot. Anyway, so I'm driving this car, and I was over at my boyfriend's house, who's now my husband. So I'm at his parents' house, and I was running kind of late. I needed to make it back by my parents, to my parents' house by a certain time. So I'm also, 16, 17. I go to back out of the driveway, and the passenger side mirror hit his dad's car, or it was a van, a big van. I hit his parents' car, right? So, I don't remember exactly. I might have gotten out and like checked to make sure the mirror was broken. I don't even remember. That's how like freaked out I was over the whole thing. Like, oh my gosh, his parents are going to be pissed. My parents are going to be pissed. I'm going to be late getting home. I'm never going to be allowed to come over here again. It was kind of traumatizing, right? So I started driving down the road. I didn't even stop. Like, I didn't even get out of the car to go talk to them about what I had just done. I just drove off, which is embarrassing. And I didn't get very far down the road before my cell phone went off. And it's John. It's my boyfriend at the time, who I ended up marrying, saying, hey, so you just hit the van. You need to come back. And I'm like, oh no. Okay. So I did. I went back and I talked to them and apologized. And then I immediately went home and told my parents. And they called his parents to talk to them about the damage. And there was like no damage done that I can remember to their van. And there's only like some scuff marks on the mirror. The mirror just like popped backwards. So they just were able to pop it back into place. But it's still embarrassing that I did that. Yeah. So there it is. The stupid things that people do. And yeah, I don't know if I've ever told that story ever. Like, my husband already knew about it, and my parents already knew about it. I don't think I ever told anybody else that I did that. And I'm sure I can come up with more stuff if I really thought about it. But those were the two things. The one thing I thought of immediately when I was watching his video, for some reason it just made me remember he did something to a kid. You should watch the video. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny and terrible at the same time. But I was thinking it, and I was like, I was watching his video, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And it immediately made me think about the first thing I told you about, which then made me think about the second one. So there it is. There's my embarrassing little moments in my life. I hope you guys don't think a whole lot less of me for it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.